Hey there, friends. We've got a guest in the shop today. It's Sophie.
Hi.
So Sophie is a local, Seattle area.
Yep.
We actually met a couple years ago at Emerald City Comic Con. I filmed you in Ghostbuster costumes.
Yes.
Super duper fun. And we're working on a project together. So we have a video coming out. Well, it should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So we're gonna film a cool project together. But you brought some other neat things to play with.
I did.
Unrelated to this project, but what you've been obsessing over lately.
Yes.
What do you got here for us?
So I've been 3D printing on fabric, and
really
it's
cool.
pretty cool. The basic idea is if you create a model that's sort of cellular or sliced and segmented, you can print it directly onto fabric and it becomes really flexible. So I lay down one layer of my print, I pause my printer, and then I tape the fabric on top of the first layer. Then I resume the print, and the fabric becomes sandwiched between the first two layers of the print.
That's cool, and you can see it I don't know if you guys can see it. It's really, really tiny.
Yeah.
Also probably out of focus. But yeah, the fabric just gets sandwiched in there, and it's like, it is not coming out. It is totally embedded.
It is on there. I think you will rip the fabric before you get the print off the fabric.
This is so neat. So this is something that we've seen before, like people putting prints on fabric, but you're working on a garment. Like you're making a whole thing out of panels made like this.
Yeah, I'm trying to scale up the concept just to see what kind of challenges I'm gonna encounter when I try to put it all over my body. So I'm keeping it, it's a small garment, it's a dress. So there'll be sort of like sleeve things. It's got to have an opening in the back so I can get in and out of it. And the challenge has really become connecting the pieces together because I'm limited to the size of my print bed.
So this is two panels put together, and there is a seam right here. Kind of hard to see on camera there. But these were two pieces that were attached together with a 3D print pen?
Yeah, so I got a 3D pen, and I basically, when I cut the fabric after I've made the print, I leave a little bit of allowance on one side, and then I join the pieces together next to each other, like right next to each other like that. And then on the back, I take a 3D pen and I just sort of glue it down on one side. And it maintains the flexibility if I only put the 3D pen on the areas I've already printed.
Very good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, from the front it is completely seamless. It's right there and you can't see it at all. That is fabulous. I'm excited to see how that garment turns out.
Me too.
And play with these some more because it's just super fun to play with. And hopefully some of you watching at home are inspired and want to give this a shot. Of course, I'll have links to Sophie's stuff if you want to go keep an eye on her progress, if you want to go check that out.
Awesome.
But we need to put this stuff away and talk about the project we're actually here to work on.
Yay.
And you guys will hear more about that in another week or so. Thanks for hanging out, Sophie.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you guys in a little bit. Hey, check it out. I'm doing some 3D modeling. I'm 3D modeling a lightsaber. I'm trying to make a 3D printable version of Luke's lightsaber, and I'm basing it on this replica that I purchased on the RPF years ago. This is a metal version. Mine will be plastic, 3D printed, and that means I have to make some accommodations for the material. So the wall thickness of this is pretty thin. Let's say it's less than 1 millimeter. Printing that on an FDM printer might be a little bit janky. So I've increased the wall thickness on the model a little bit to give myself some more meat to work with. There are some other things I'll have to change. This isn't going to be screen accurate. Just things that I can't do in plastic that you can do in metal. Lots of little pieces. This is a part I'm about to do that's just really fun. I just drew this whole, the profile of the end of this little piece here, and I'm about to cut it out. Let me show you what that's like. Just grab those, whoop, faces there, hit extrude, drag them through, burp, and hit OK. And now I have that trench cut out. Look at that. That's pretty neat. This is another thing I've made an accommodation for. See, in the bottom here, this is connected. On the real one, it's not. The thing is, when you open this, it actually tensions that part there. It makes it easier or more difficult to pull this this tube piece out. That's also how you replace the switch part. This is from the Empire Strikes Back version that goes in there. Like that, and then it clamps down on it. But there's also this bubble thing, I think was from a calculator originally. That's the A New Hope version. I'm planning on modeling the parts to have both versions, both the A New Hope version and the Empire Strikes Back version. They have different numbered handle grippy things and a couple of other different features. We'll see how much time I have. I'm focusing on the A New Hope version, I think. Making it change to do the other version shouldn't be that tricky. We'll see how much time I have. But yeah, this is basically what I'm doing. I'm kind of making a copy of a thing I already have. So I'm doing a lot of measuring with my calipers to figure out the dimensions of all the pieces here. I'm starting with this middle part because a lot of the other pieces are going to rely on it. I've got the other tubes kind of blocked out there. They all need to be able to fit together. There we go. So that's really about all I have so far. I just started like half an hour ago, but so far things are going really well. This is a rare opportunity for me to like work without being filmed, which means I have my headphones and I get to listen to music and drink my coffee and kind of zen out while I model. Sometimes I will record this process if I'm not going to give out the files, which I've been doing more and more lately. But if I'm not going to do that, like with the Nuka-Cola gun or the Oblivion gun, the Tom Cruise Oblivion gun, those ones I recorded my 3D modeling process and put them up on YouTube so that people can follow along. I figure if I'm going to model something like this and not record it, then I could just give out the files because then people could just print them themselves. It's a toss-up whether I want to put in the effort to record and edit a 3D modeling tutorial, which is super tedious. But if I do that, then other people can follow along. They don't need the files, and I'd prefer that because then people can learn how to 3D model. But I don't have enough time to both record this and edit it and get the files done for printing so that we'll be ready to film the video. So I figure we'll just give out the files. Anyway, that's a little bit of my thought process behind 3D modeling stuff for both video and for people to follow along with. And lately I've just been going, I'll just give out the files. We gave out the Steven Universe files, the Arc Reactor files. I've sort of turned the corner on thinking about giving out 3D files for the most part. Anyway, these will be available when the video comes out in a couple weeks, and hopefully you grab them and print them. Hopefully they're done and good by then. I don't know yet. I only just started. All right, time to zen out and model a lightsaber. Cheers. Hey, I figured I would round out today's vlog with a tool story, but not a traditional shop tool. We're going with a photography and video tool. This is my old camera. We don't film with this guy anymore. We film with a Panasonic GH5 and a G85. We have mostly the GH5, but we swap between the two. And then I'm filming you on a little point and shoot. This is a little Sony RX100 Mark V. I'm a camera and camera gear nut or enthusiast. I grew up learning photography from my mom, who was a high school photography teacher and art teacher. So I grew up shooting black and white film and processing black and white film and photographs with my mom. So I had a lot of that growing up. And when I was a teenager, I inherited a Canon T50, which is a film camera. It's not a particularly good one, but it was mine and it had replaceable lenses. And my mom had some Canon lenses, so I got to play around with that. So I learned photography from an early age. And then that Canon T50, I lost it, or someone stole it in like 2006. So I had it for a while and then I lost it. And then I didn't do photography for a couple of years until I got into digital photography in like 2009. I went with Nikon because at that point my mom had switched over to Nikon and she had all Nikon lenses. So I got the D60, I think, which wasn't enough camera for me. I wanted more features, so I almost immediately replaced that with a D200, and then I almost immediately replaced that with a D300S, and then I fell in the ocean with that. So that one died. But then I got this camera. This is the Nikon D7000, not as feature-rich as some of the older ones that I bought, but the price is really good, and these are just really, really killer cameras. Came out in like 2012, I think. This camera is the camera I used for all of my first YouTube videos. This exact one. In fact, starting the YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers, I used the same exact memory card. This is my play button for when we hit 100,000 subscribers. I replaced the button with my own foam one, but I also glued this memory card in there. A little 8 gig SanDisk, because that same memory card was used to create every single video that got us up to 100,000 subscribers. Then I retired it because it hadn't failed yet, and I'm sure that it was probably about to. But I retired that card, but I kept shooting with this camera. In fact, there's a 16 gig card in there right now. We upgraded. Anyway, this one survived. We had 2 of these. Brittany got one and I got one. Used them a lot before we upgraded to the current setup, our mirrorless Panasonics. But I love this camera. I have put tens of thousands of photos through this thing, and I don't even know how much video. It still works great. It still shoots great. It just doesn't have the features that I need for what we do that the newer cameras have. Also, like I said before, I'm a bit of a enthusiast about camera gear, and I can't be stopped when it comes to buying the cool new hotness. And there's also a bunch of Panasonic lenses I'm still jonesing after. Anyway, this fella right here is kind of an artifact of Punished Props past. I'm glad I still have it. I'm going to keep it indefinitely, because if I ever need a camera, it still works great. Still have lenses for it. This is my 50mm f1.4 lens. It's a really killer lens. This is the lens I used to shoot almost all of the videos for YouTube when I was using this camera. It's a great combo. And this is still, like, I would still feel confident and good taking this out to take photos today. Of course, I'm gonna use my real newer camera, but this would totally still work. I think that'll do it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoy a little background into my camera history. I enjoyed talking about this stuff. If you like talking about camera gear as well, let me know in the comments. I'd love to chat. If you have any questions about what we're doing in the shop this week, please let me know. I'm always happy to hear back from you. Other than that, we're cruising into the end of the week. We've got new products going in the store for Black Friday at the end of this week. We have a new project that we're working on, and I can't wait to share all the details. Actually, you know what we're working on. You saw what Sophie and I were working on. We're making lightsabers, and I can't wait to finish them. All right. Thanks, as always, for the support. You guys are wonderful, delightful human beings. We couldn't do this without you, so please keep it up. And I hope you have a wonderful week if you're spending time with family, and I hope you don't eat too much, but maybe just a little too much. Maybe just a little extra stuffing. One extra helping of stuffing for this guy. All right. Time to go. I've got to go sand some more pieces of plastic. But thanks for hanging out. I'll see you pretty soon. Have a good one.